Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Anupram. Sorry for the interruption. It was a power cut. All right. So we were discussing about how Krishna is supremely eternal, blissful, and supremely eternal, blissful, and with complete knowledge. Whereas we are all infinitesimal part and parcel of that supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. So Krishna is never overcome by Maya. So that's why Krishna says, we were discussing it yesterday. Daivi hayesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So we can come under the influence of Maya because we are infinitesimal part and parcel of the Lord. Whereas the Lord himself cannot be and come under the control of Maya because Maya herself is the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Alright, so on that note, let's quickly go ahead and let's continue from where we left off yesterday. So Chaitanya Charitamrita. So yesterday, as part of introduction, we were discussing two major tattvas of, one is Acintya Abheda, bheda tattva. Secondly, how the Supreme Lord is equal to the living entities, right? Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. One is the maintainer, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas all of us who are also Satchit and Ananda were equal to the Lord in quality, but are unequal in quality, are being maintained by the Supreme Personality. Alright, so let's quickly move ahead. The Chaitanya Charitamrita teaches that spirit soul is immortal and that our activities in the spiritual world are also immortal. The Mayavadis who hold this view that the absolute is impersonal and formless contend that a realized soul has no need to talk. But the Vaishnavas, devotees of Krishna, contend that when one reaches the stage of realization, he really begins to talk. Previously, we only talked of nonsense, the Vaishnava says. Now let us begin our talks, real talks about Krishna. So Prabhupada says Mauna. The definition of Mauna Prabhupada gives is not about keeping silent, but the real definition of Mauna means that we talk only about Krishna. We use our tongue, Jiva, Dau, for chanting Hare Krishna and to talk about Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. In support of their view that the self-realized remain silent, the Mayavadis are fond of using the example of the water pot, maintaining that when a pot is not filled with water, it makes a sound. But then when it is filled, it makes no sound. But are we water pots, right? So here the Mayavadi's tattva is being given and how that particular tattva is being defeated. A good analogy utilizes as many similarities between two objects as possible. A water pot is not an active living force, but we are ever said meditation may be adequate for a water pot, but not for us. Indeed, when a devotee realizes how much is to say about Krishna, 24 hours in a day are not sufficient. It is a fool who is celebrated as long as he does not speak. For when he breaks his silence, his lack of knowledge is exposed. The Chaitanya Charitamrita shows that there are many wonderful things to discover by glorifying the Supreme. Okay, anyone else wants to read? Can raise your hands. In the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes, I offer my respects to my spiritual masters. He uses a plural here to indicate the disciplic succession. He offers obeisances not to his spiritual master alone, but to the whole parampara, the chain of disciplic succession beginning with Lord Sri Krishna himself. So several times we have discussed this during our discussions, right? That we have a guru who's coming in one of the four bona fide disciplic successions, right? Either Rudra Sampradaya or Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Guru Parampara or Shri Sampradaya or Kumar Sampradaya, right? What happens when we take a guru who's coming in one of these four bona fide sampradayas? What will happen? Our knowledge is not at a mental or at an intellectual level, right? Because the knowledge that is there at a mental or intellectual level is a material knowledge, right? The Jada Vidya. But transcendental subject matters are not received in the head. Transcendental subject matters are received in the heart. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.4. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Right? So what does Krishna say? Jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. A spiritual master who is coming in the one of the four bona fide paramparas, what does he do? He reveals the transcendental knowledge in the heart of the disciple because he has already seen the truth. He has already realized the truth. Jnaninas tattva Darshinaha. So he has already realized the truth, and hence this transcendental knowledge has to be received in the heart of the disciple. That is why the more our transcendental knowledge increase, right? Vidya vinaya samega vihastini shunichaiva swapakecha panditaha samadarshinaha. The more our transcendental knowledge increases, the more the humility in the heart has to increase. The more we understand how great Krishna is, that is Krishna Tattva, we understand how insignificant we are, how much of an insignificant servant we are of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is real knowledge. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. When we get real spiritual knowledge or real Vidya, then Vinaya Sampanne. Vinaya or humility is a natural consequence. Vinaya has to be there. If Vidya is received in a proper mode, and if it is proper spiritual knowledge, if it is a proper spiritual culture, Vinaya has to go along with Vidya. The more Vidya we get, the more knowledge we acquire, then to that extent we have to become more and more humble. That means we have realized the knowledge to the right source, and we've received the knowledge in the right path, and we've received the knowledge in our heart. Otherwise, if it increases the false ego, it increases the weight of the head, then it is Jada Vidya. It is Shrama Evahi Kevalam. We might have memorized all of the verses of the Bhagavad Gita, but if we don't know who is Krishna, right, and what we are supposed to do, what is our position, we don't know Tattva Gyan, Sambandha Gyan, Abhidya Gyan, and Prayojana Gyan, then what is it? Shrama Evahi Kevalam. And here Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, Chaitanya Charitamrita, it starts with Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, Isham Ishavatarakan, Tat Prakasham Sa Tat Shaktin, Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam, Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan. Vande Gurun means what? Not just one Guru. Of course, we have one Diksha Guru, but we have so many Siksha Gurus. We have Vartama Pratishika Guru, isn't it? So, Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan. So, whoever is coming in the bona fide parampara of Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava parampara that we are especially following, right, in which Srila Prabhupada has also come as the eternal preeminent Siksha Guru, and has incorporated this international study of Krishna consciousness, where we practice Krishna consciousness, where we understand the tattva in the association of devotees. Right? When we do that, then what happens? We are receiving the knowledge in a proper bona fide disciplic succession, and hence we need to offer obeisances to all of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Guru Parampara. That's why we say, like Prabhupada also at the end of every session, he says, Namo Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ashtottara Sata, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, and then we offer pranams to our own Guru. So in this way, we need to offer respect, because knowledge is received from Krishna, but it is received through the disciplic succession, right, and is received from our Guru, our immediate Guru to us, right, and that could be even a Siksha Guru, because Siksha Guru is traveling all over, may not have the time for personal instruction. So our Siksha Guru is also coming in the bona fide disciplic succession, and in our parampara, Siksha Gurus also has a lot of prominence, right, because Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj was a Siksha disciple of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Right? And in this way we see Siksha Guru is also very, very important. That's why Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan. Vande Gurun. Guru means one. Gurun means multiple Gurus. Because there are so many Siksha Gurus who actually motivate us to continue with the path of devotional service. That's why here Prabhupada says, obeisance is not to the spiritual master alone. It has to be done to the entire Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Guru Parampara. Right? Because it is only with the mercy Guru Parampara that we receive the knowledge in our heart. To the extent we are sincere, to the extent we are surrendering to our Gurus. Yeah. So let's, okay, Deval Mataji, go ahead. Does the author addresses the Guru from here?
1 second, Mataji.
Can you see?
I can see. I was trying to read from my screen. 1 second.
Okay.
In the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, from there, Mataji?
No. Does the author addresses the Guru in the plural? Yeah.
Okay, just a moment. Thus, the author addresses the Guru in the plural to show the highest respect for all his predecessor spiritual masters. After offering obeisances to the disciplic succession, the author pays obeisances to all other devotees, to the Lord himself, to his incarnations, to the expansions of Godhead, and to the manifestation of Krishna's internal energy. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes called Krishna Chaitanya, is the embodiment of all of these. He is God, Guru, devotee, incarnation, internal energy, and expansion of God. As his associate Nityananda, he is the first expansion of God. As Advaita, he is an incarnation as Gadadhara. He is the internal potency. And as Shivasa, he is the marginal living entity in the role of a devotee. Thus, Krishna should not be thought of as being alone, but should be considered as eternally existing with all his manifestations, as described by Ramanujacharya. In the Vishishta Advaita philosophy, God's energies, expansions, and incarnations are considered to be oneness in diversity. In other words, God is not separate from all of these. Everything together is God. Actually, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is not intended for the novice, for it is the postgraduate study of spiritual knowledge. Ideally, one begins with the Bhagavad Gita and advances through Srimad Bhagavatam to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Although all these great scriptures are on the same absolute level, for the sake of comparative study, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is considered to be on the highest platform. Every verse in it is perfectly composed. In the second verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the author offers his obeisances to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. He compares them to the sun and the moon because they dissipate the darkness of the material world. In this instance, the sun and the moon have risen together. In the Western world, where the glories of Lord Chaitanya are relatively unknown, one may inquire, who is Krishna Chaitanya? The author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadasa Kaviraja, answers that question in the third verse of this book. Generally, in the Upanishads, the supreme absolute truth is described in an impersonal way, but the personal aspect of the absolute truth is mentioned in the Upanishad, where sorry, excuse me, where we find the following verse: Hiranyamayena patrena satya syapi titam mukham tattvam pushan apavrunus satya dharmaya drishtaye. O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. Sri Ishopanishad 15. The impersonalists do not have the power to go beyond the effulgence of God and arrive at the personality of Godhead from whom this effulgence is emanating. The Ishopanishad is a hymn to that personality of Godhead. It is not that the impersonal Brahman is denied. It is also described, but that Brahman is revealed to be the glaring effulgence of the body of Lord Krishna. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we learn that the Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. In other words, Sri Krishna Chaitanya is the basis of the impersonal Brahman, the Paramatma or Super Soul, who is present within the heart of every living entity and within every atom of the universe, is but the partial representation of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, being the basis of both Brahman and the all-pervading Paramatma as well, is the supreme personality of Godhead. As such, he is full in six opulences: wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. In short, we should know that he is Krishna, God, and that nothing is equal to or greater than him. There is nothing superior to be conceived. He is the supreme person. Srila Rupa
Hare Krishna.
Goswami,
Thank
a
you, Mataji.
confidence. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Dharmas Pranam.
Thank you, Dhanad Pranam. So, ऐश्वर्यस्य समाग्रस्य वीर्यस्य यशः श्रियः ज्ञानवैराग्य यश्चैव सन्नं भग इतिङ्गण. So Parashara Muni has coined this definition of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and what is he called? He is called Bhagavan. Bhaga means opulences, Van means one who possesses these opulences. And who possesses all these opulences in full? He is Bhagavan, right? Aishwaryasya samagrasya, in completeness, in fullness. Whoever possesses Aishwarya, the youth. Samagrasya, Viryasya, strength. Yashasha, Shriyaha. Yashaha means fame. Shri means beauty. Right? Jnana Vairagya. Jnana means knowledge. Vairagya means renunciation. One who possesses all of this in full is Shri Krishna himself, right? Who depicts all of these qualities. Renunciation, people say, how does Krishna exhibit renunciation? Krishna exhibits renunciation when he is introduced as the servant of Arjuna, isn't it? He is introduced as the charioteer. Generally, when we were discussing Bhagavad Gita, right? Generally, in the trailers and in the movies, how is the hero introduced? The hero is introduced performing some wonderful Herculean task, right? Jumping in between the train or jumping in between the car or jumping in between two horses, showing his prowess like that. That is how, a Rajinikanth or whoever hero who are there of the current times are introduced, isn't it? But how does Krishna choose himself to be introduced in Bhagavad Gita? In the front page also, Krishna is being the charioteer. Krishna is being the servant of his pure devotee. So in this, although Krishna has all the opulences, renunciation is an opulence that Krishna is taking voluntarily. Because Krishna likes not to control others. That's why he does not even interfere with our free will, isn't it? Right? If Krishna says, if you like, you may offer obeisances to me. If you like, you may want to glorify me. Right? And that is why we are all in this material world, because we are envious of the Lord, because we want to engage in sense gratification independent of the Lord, because Krishna does not interfere with our free will. And Krishna volunteers to become the servant of each of his devotee. Like they say that there is a transcendental competition between the Lord and his pure devotees to serve. And almost always we can see that the Lord, or that the Lord always almost wins. Right? There's also the beautiful passage of Madhavendra Puri, right? Okay, the Zoom will end in 10 minutes. It hardly lost a lot of time. Okay. In any case, so Madhavendra Puri, he actually he got the instructions from Krishna to offer this chandan, right? To where he had to go? He had to go to Jagannath Puri to get chandan and camphor to apply to Gopalji deity in Vrindavan. So he walked all the way, and in between he reached Ramuna. In Ramuna, he got a he. I mean, this we all know this pastime of how Kirchor Gopinath, right? So in that temple, they make this wonderful, 12 bowls of kheer that is actually made there, is offered to Gopinath ji. And our Madhavendra Puri is there in the temple. He's thinking, if I get to honor this kheer, I would like to make it for my Gopalji. So he had no intention of sense gratification. He only wanted to make that kheer for his own deity, Gopalji, back in Vrindavan. So he thought like this, and then he was admonishing himself. And then he ran to the marketplace. He didn't want to be there in the temple because he was thinking, the boga is not yet offered to the Lord, and how could I want to taste the boga even before it is offered to the Lord? So in this way, we see, quickly running, cutting short the pastime. Gopinath actually stole the kheer for Madhavendra Puri, right? And then in the pujari's dream, he came, and then the pujari came running to the marketplace saying, the Lord has stolen kheer for you. And Madhavendra Puri is like, oh my God, everybody will now come to me and say, oh, Lord Krishna has personally stolen kheer for you. He quickly ran away that particular night itself to Jagannath Puri. But the Acharyas explained that before Madhavendra Puri reached Jagannath Puri, his glories had already reached. And devotees were already ready with camphor and chandan to actually to give to Madhavendra Puri so he can take it back to Vrindavan, right? So that's a different pastime. So why was I saying this? There is a transcendental competition between the Lord and the devotee. The devotee does not want any glory, any fame. The devotee simply wants to serve the Lord. But the Lord wants to give all the credit to the devotee. And who wins? Of course, the devotee's devotion is also with the mercy of the Lord. So the Lord always wins. And hence the devotee is always glorified much more than the Lord in all situations, because that pleases the Lord. Right? So in this case, we see here. Here also we see that the Lord wants to glorify the pure devotee. That is why he is saying, Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. Oh Arjuna, you take the credit of killing all of these warriors, but I have already killed them. Right? So although there is nobody greater than Krishna, right? That's why he's called Asamordhva. Asama, nobody is equal to him. Asa Urdhva. That means nobody is greater than him. That's why he's called by the name Asam Urdhva. Isn't it? But yet, the Lord always wants to put his devotees in a higher pedestal, right? So that is the opulence of the Lord. That not only he's got unlimited wealth, fame, strength, beauty, renunciation, and knowledge, he always wants to, although he is complete in himself, he is Atmaram. What is he doing? He always depends on his devotees to serve him, to love him with devotion. And in that mood of reciprocation, a devotee seems to be greater than the Lord, because that is the desire of the Lord. Yesterday also discussing about how Bhakti, Bhakta and Bhagavan are inseparable, because Bhagavan chooses Bhakti and Bhakta to be given more importance than himself. And that is because of the desire of the Lord. It happens like that. All right. Let's quickly see in the next 8 minutes how much we can read. Otherwise, we will rejoin. Let's see how much we are able to complete with. Okay. Who wants to read next? Do I see some hands up? Yeah, Anusha Mataji is there, and then Rajneesh Prabhu. Yes, go ahead. Sri Rupa Goswami, a confidential devotee, taught for more than 10 days continually by Lord Chaitanya. What did he write? Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Dvishe Namaha. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranams.
Anusha Mataji
I
joined us
often
after a long time. She had gone into hibernation. We welcome you after a long time. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya, who is more magnanimous than any other avatara, even Krishna himself, because he is bestowing freely what no one else has ever given, pure love of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya's teachings begin from the point of surrender to Krishna. He does not pursue the paths of Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga or Hatha Yoga, but begins at the end of material existence, at the point where one gives up all material attachment. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna begins his teachings by distinguishing the soul from matter, and in the 18th chapter, he concludes at the point where the soul surrenders to him in devotion. The Mayavadis would have all talk cease there, but at that point, the real discussion only begins. As the Vedanta Sutra says at the very beginning, Atato Brahma Jignasa. Now, let us begin to inquire about the supreme absolute truth. Rupa Goswami thus praises Lord Chaitanya as the most munificent incarnation of all, for he gives the greatest gift by teaching the highest form of devotional service. In other words, he answers the most important inquiries that anyone can make. There are different stages of devotional service and God realization. Strictly speaking, anyone who accepts the existence of God is situated in devotional service. To acknowledge that God is great is something, but not much. Lord Chaitanya, preaching as an acharya, a great teacher, taught that we can enter into a relationship with God and actually become God's friend, parent, or lover. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna showed Arjuna
Haribol.
his.
Thank you, Mataji. Let's ask Rajneesh Prabhu to continue. We have about 3 minutes. Let's complete this paragraph and we'll complete it today. And then we will, today is Friday, right? So on Monday, I think we will continue with Bhagavatam. Next, we'll meet on next Thursday as we continue this. Okay, Rajneesh Prabhu, quickly you want to read? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna showed Arjuna.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna showed Arjuna his universal form because Arjuna was his very dear friend. Upon seeing Krishna as the Lord of universes, however, Arjuna asked Krishna to forgive the formality of his
Of his
friendship.
friendship.
Lord Chaitanya goes beyond this point, though Lord Chaitanya, we can become friends with Krishna through Lord Chaitanya, we can become friends with Krishna, and there will be no limit to this friendship. We can become friends of Krishna not in the awe or abolition, but in complete freedom. We can even relate to God as his father or mother. This is the philosophy not only of Chaitanya Charitamrita but of Srimad Bhagavatam as well. There were There are no other scriptures in the world in which God is treated as son of a devotee. Usually, God is seen as the Almighty Father who supplies the demands of His sons. The great devotees, however, sometimes treat God as a son in their execution of devotional service. The son demands and the father and mother supply, and in supplying Krishna, the devotee the devotee becomes like a father or mother. Instead of taking from God, we give to God. It was in the relationship that Krishna's mother Yashoda told the Lord, "Here, eat this or you will die. Eat nicely." In this way, Krishna, although the proprietor of everything, depends upon the mercy of his devotee. This is uniquely high level of friendship in which the devotee actually believes himself to be the father of or mother of Krishna. However,
Thank you,
Lord
Prabhu.
Chaitanya,
And
Hare
Pranam,
Krishna
Haribol.
Mate,
We have so apologies. There's
Hare
only
Krishna.
time for this much. There was a power cut, so I'm really sorry that we could not cover much. But this is just the beginning. We've just started yesterday, and now Chaitanya Charitamrita, we're going to relish this in the next weeks to come. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we'll do Bhagavatam. Thursday, Friday we'll do Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in our loving relationship with God, we don't want to ask God, I want this, I want this, I want this. It becomes a deal, right? That we generally ask for devatas, right? Like Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, right? What do we want to do? We simply want to ask the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. O Supreme Lord, energy of the Supreme Lord, please engage me in your service. So thank you, devotees. We'll meet on Monday morning. Of course, we meet every day in the morning 4:30 for our Brahma Muhurta chanting session. We'll meet at 11 o'clock on Monday as we continue with Srimad Bhagavatam. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we will do Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you all for joining in. We'll do Harinam Sankirtan. Devotees can switch on your cameras. Namah Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale